Well, we asked specific things because we think there's a larger issue here. We all like the fact that there are new ways to connect people socially online. What we don't like is that somebody might be using our personal information for larger political efforts that we are unaware of. And so today was an attempt to try to get to the bottom of, once a decree was done by the Federal Trade Commission, how come so many problems happened afterwards? And how do we deal with this issue writ large, larger than just Facebook? How do we deal with it across the board of various influences? So we tried to bring up some other instances where we've discussed this before and what we've done about it, but obviously there are a lot of questions that we're still going to have to keep asking.
Right. And you raised questions about the firm Palantir and whether it could be connected to the Cambridge Analytica investigation. When you went down that line of questioning, do you feel like Zuckerberg answered your questions? Or, I mean, he gave a lot of, I don't knows.
Well, the reason we asked that is because there has been discussion in the press in the last few weeks that maybe they even suggested to Cambridge Analytica, here's how you do this. And what we wanted to know, because, as Mr. Zuckerberg tried to address, that there may be other applications out there. What, we hope people would see is that, again, while social networking and being able to share with our friends information and pictures is one thing, but people being able to come and harvest that information and turn it into a political campaign from a psychological analysis and then feed you back fear or information, as was done in the 2016 campaign. The one thing that we want to make sure is that the United States of America has free and fair elections, and that they're not with undue influence or information that somehow got into people's, on their web page without the proper documentation and information. Well, Mr. Zuckerberg is incredibly talented. What I was trying to get at was whether he thought that those same things should apply in the United States. It's one thing to say you're going to comply with them in Europe, but did he think that they needed to be complied in the United States, or would we have to come up with our regulations and enforce them here? I mean, my guess is there will be that discussion, but I wanted to see how willing he was to have those, or to comply. If you're complying in Europe, you could say, well, I'm going to comply in the U.S. as well. But I think he left the door open for some, what he called unique circumstances. I think that was the phrase he used, or something like that. So, so I'm looking for how aggressive is he going to be in helping us police this issue? Because once the consent decree was signed, it seemed like they were serious, but yet so many things have transpired. Well, we know that this isn't the end of all of this in an information age. So we want his help, but we want his true, forceful help in trying to solve this problem. Well, I think he's sticking probably to a script, and what I would hope that he would do is become the leader of this effort, to basically be the smart guy that figured out Facebook, to be the smart guy to outfox those individuals who are using these applications to invade individual members of Facebook. That's what I want to see. And I think now he's, trying to give answers to this, but what I want him to do is be the very aggressive leader of fighting all these efforts to take applications and use them against individuals from Facebook.
And after he leaves after tomorrow, or after the testimony is finished, what are next steps in Congress?
Well, I'm sure there will be a plethora of legislative ideas. The honest ad is the one that's first and foremost, which is to make sure that our election laws apply across all platforms. The same things that you as a broadcast entity have to comply with, then somebody online should have to comply with that. And that'll be first, but my guess is there'll be a review of the European Union standards and what kind of privacy standards here in the United States.